If breathing actually costs money, like if the expenses were deducted straight from your bank account just like that, it sounds so painful, right? And the next question is, are you crazy? How could that even be possible? Well, it could happen because the idea that the air we breathe shouldn't be free has actually been discussed on the world stage, like at the World Economic Forum in 2024. As for the technology that could track us and know exactly how much air we breathe in and then charge us for it, that's actually possible now too. If the technology called the digital control grid, a total absolute human control network, actually becomes a reality, then the question is, wow, but for something like that to exist and be enforced, it would definitely take a long time. Why? Because we have a government, we have a constitution, we have democracy. It takes time to vote, for laws to pass. It takes a long time. The government can't just get whatever it wants right away, as long as everything is normal. But if things aren't normal, like if there's a war or a crisis, if there's a food crisis or like during the COVID pandemic, laws that could never have been passed in just a few weeks suddenly got pushed through super fast, right? So in this clip, I'll explain what the digital control grid actually looks like, what it's made up of, and you'll get a clear picture. For example, imagine if your salary came with an expiration date, or if you made a wrong turn while driving and got points deducted from your citizen score. Or what if a government somewhere said that, let's reduce the public debt a bit using stablecoin. Digital control grid can do it all, and it will definitely affect your life. It also impacts finance and investment. You can easily support the Sign Money Monster channel by using this QR code right here. Or if you want to support the Psy Money Monster channel, you can like, share, or comment to chat with us. But what I'd really love the most is if you could hit subscribe for us. Or if you want to become a member right now, you can sign up right away. And soon we'll have an event where we'll invite everyone to join in the fun together. Thank you. The reason I made this video is because I came across a viral clip that really inspired me. It said that water or even the air we breathe every day shouldn't be free. And this is actually something that's being discussed on the world stage at the World Economic Forum in 2024. Mr. Vince Hooper, CEO of Cambridge Institute for Sustainability, said that nature should have a price and it should be recorded in the balance sheet.
Jack, my sources, and Jill. Vision, it's about incorporating nature into the balance sheet to bring nature into the way that institutions are managed. Some have already started doing this, allocating value to water and operating it, and joining together to create mechanisms for this.
Actually, in this clip, the intention is to talk about taking care of resources and not letting people use them wastefully as if they'll never run out. So the idea is to factor in the costs so people realize, hey, this stuff is valuable. But the point that made it go viral is it's not about the point of conserving resources, but rather the idea that the air we breathe shouldn't be free. I mean, I get it, sure, you can say that, but how are you going to control or monitor when and how much we breathe? And how would you even charge us for it? Part of what made this clip go even more viral is that the technology to monitor us that closely actually exists. It's called the digital control grid, or if you translate it into Thai, it's something like a total human control net. According to Catherine Austin Fitts, a former Assistant Secretary of Housing under President Bush, she once explained what the control grid looks like. She said that it consists of three main pillars. These three pillars are very special because nothing like them has ever existed before in human history. More importantly, no one has ever combined them together like this before. And what's even more significant is that all three pillars have been developed extensively for by the time we're watching this clip, these three pillars are already in place. So what are these three pillars that will be used to control humanity? First, programmable money. Money that can be programmed, like CBDCs, stablecoins, digital tokens, or anything that has an intermediary issuing it as digital currency. All of them count. Second, global digital identity, a worldwide digital identity system. We've already given our iris scans and fingerprints. And third, hardware, devices used for surveillance and enforcement. This system uses AI cameras to monitor everything, your facial expressions, your eyes, your body temperature, and even when your body is about to commit a crime. Catherine says that if these three pillars are fully built and enforced, those in charge of controlling the population will only need technology to control people. She says outright that laws, police, and courts will no longer be necessary, because if the controllers want you to do something and you refuse, they can simply switch off the things that matter in your life, like your ability to travel. You won't be able to travel, you won't be able to buy a plane ticket, or even access your own money until you agree to follow their orders. And of course, just hearing this much, anyone can imagine how this would impact our lives and the asset and investment markets for sure. In this video, I'll break down each pillar for you one by one. Let's start with programmable money, money that can be programmed. First, let's talk about how it's different. Programmable money versus regular money. Let me tell you, the money we're using right now, these days, right, we use TieBot for our work. This isn't programmable money because the money we get comes as physical bills, as actual cash, or as numbers in our bank accounts. Whatever form it takes, we just get the money, not a set of rules attached to it. Once you have the money, what you spend it on is your business. Who you give it to is your business. Where you keep it is also your business. The only thing is, if you want to transfer more than 50,000 baht out of your account, the bank they'll ask you to do a bit of KYC. Or if you want to transfer a large amount out of the bank, they'll ask you some questions. So the money we use today is called neutral value money. It's just there for us to use. It doesn't care what we use it for, and it has no right to tell us what we should or shouldn't do with it. But programmable money is different. It's money that comes with a set of rules, meaning the money you receive can come with any conditions attached depending on how someone sets it up. For example, let's say you get your salary and there are rules attached to it. For example, once you receive your salary, you're required to spend this amount within 365 days. Otherwise, it will expire. What does that mean? It means that as soon as you get your salary, if you don't spend it within a year, that money becomes zero. That's basically a disaster for personal financial management right away. Or they could say this money can only be spent at this particular tycoon's department store. Or they could say you can only use this money to buy certain things. You can buy anything except meat, because the person who issued this money is a vegan. Just to clarify, I'm not saying that if programmable money comes out, it will definitely be programmed the way I just described. This is just a hypothetical example. Technically, though, it can be set up that way. To be honest, does programmable money have any advantages? It does. For example, since it's programmed, it can be managed with absolute precision, especially in systems where certain things are strictly prohibited. Things like fraud or money laundering, those can't be done anymore because every single transaction can be tracked down to the last cent. But with programmable money, whether it's good or bad, really depends on the person who sets the program. That's the point. So does programmable money already exist? Yes, it does. CBDCs issued by central banks in every country, that's programmable money. Or stablecoins. Yes, those are also programmable money. And are there already examples of programmable money being set up? No, there aren't any yet. Let me give you an example of a truly world-class, genius-level use case. Programming a stablecoin with the goal of, get this, paying off the United States public debt. And not just that, it could also help the US government bond market, at least in theory. The most amazing part is this. Do you remember Genius Act? If you don't, I've explained it in detail in this video. Go check it out first. To put it in very simple terms, the Genius Act says that any institution, whether it is a private company or any other entity, can issue a stablecoin. But the catch is that stablecoin must be backed one-to-one by the actual value of US government bonds. Now, what that actually means for the global economy is, if stablecoins become popular and hundreds of millions or even a billion people around the world end up holding these stablecoins, which are essentially digital versions of the US dollar, can be conveniently stored directly on your smartphone. That means every single person's individual smartphone would be holding US government bonds, or in other words, the actual national debt of the United States. This is a really direct and effective solution to the current problem, where everyone knows that the US government's global credibility is dropping because of things like starting wars. China, Japan, and even various countries in the Gulf region. US government bonds? Wow. The US government would definitely be shocked if suddenly no one wanted to buy their debt. The yield would shoot up. So what should they do? Well, they could issue a stablecoin backed by US government bonds. That's a good idea because it would basically open up a whole new market. This is a way to export US debt to the global retail market, which could increase the demand for US debt or US government bonds. The demand would remain high, and that would help keep the US dollar's throne strong. And if they ever wanted to reduce the value of the debt, what could they do? Just slightly lower the value of the stablecoin, a tiny bit. Just like that, the value of the debt could disappear in a flash. This is just an example of the beginning of programmable money. It really lives up to its name, doesn't it? So, what are the effects of programmable money on the financial markets and investments? If money can be programmed, then what do you use to buy assets? You use money to buy assets, so it too must be programmable. And this, is not complicated. There's no need to worry. Someone is already prepared to handle this for everyone in the world. That person is Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager. Larry Fink has said that he plans to buy all stocks and bonds. Basically, it's probably going to be everything in the world, all as digital tokens on the blockchain. But every stock and every bond will have its own unique code, a CUSIP. Every stock you own, every bond, every asset will be on a programmable ledger. Yes, that's a market worth hundreds of trillions of dollars. And if money can be programmed and assets can be programmed, that means the rules that come with the money and assets you hold can be changed at any time, depending on whoever controls the rules. The second pillar, global digital identity, a worldwide identity verification system. Now that we have programmable money, right, we need to create rules to enforce it as well. So you might ask, oh, really? Isn't that a bit dark? Maybe the world isn't that bleak. Let's take a look at this first. The Bank of International Settlements, or BIS, which is basically the central bank of all central banks, has already released documents about this. It states that digital ID and CBDC are designed to be used together. And the first thing we'll see from the integration of CBDC and digital ID is the social credit system. If you're wondering, is that even possible? There are so many people in the world. Well, there are countries that have already done it. For example, China, with its 1.4 billion people, has already completed this system. And what is this system? It's a scoring system to make you a citizen. The best behaviors, the ones the state likes most, like paying your bills on time, will earn you points. Crossing the street properly, that's adorable. You get points for that too. But if you drive in the wrong lane, you'll get points deducted. Go practice and try again. Or if you post something criticizing the government, wow, you'll lose a lot of points for that. So after you've either gained or lost points, here's how it works. Let's say you have a lot of points. You'll be able to have more rights in society. For example, if you have a high score, right? Hello there, good citizen. You have the right to access loans at a lower interest rate. Or this train even has a fast lane just for high-scoring citizens. But if someone has a low score, you might still be able to get a loan, but the interest rate will be higher. Would you still want to borrow? Or, oops, you're not allowed to buy a plane ticket because your score is too low. And if your score is so low that you get blacklisted and you're hungry, sorry, you can't withdraw money to buy food today. You don't have the right to access your own account because your score isn't high enough. That could happen. But there's something that might make us feel a little better. This digital ID system won't happen unless we give something really important to the people who control the system, and that's biometrics. Biometrics means things like our iris scan or fingerprints, stuff like that. So if you know this, who would ever agree to give that up, right? It might not be that we willingly agree to give it, but more like, oh, really? I have to give it? Okay, fine, here you go. For example, Standout Man's World ID project, the owner of OpenAI, he launched World ID, not as a government project, but as a project that can actually solve real problems. In a world full of AI like this, how can we know we're not being deceived? That's why we need World ID, so that The way to prove you're human is, well, just come on over and scan your iris with World ID. Once you've scanned, you'll immediately get credentials to confirm that you're human. And what do you do with those credentials? You use them for verification. Instead of just ticking a box that says, I'm not a robot, or solving those tricky image puzzles or matching traffic lights, now you can use something a bit fancier, more high-tech, these credentials. For example, you could use them on Tinder so that the person who matches with you can be sure, hey, they're definitely matching with a real human. Or you could use it on Zoom, so you can be sure that the person you're talking to isn't a deep fake or anything like that. Right now, World ID already has 18 million people who have voluntarily scanned their irises. Not a small number at all. But I have to say, collecting biometrics like this doesn't necessarily require a special project like World ID. Honestly, all of us might have already had our biometrics collected a long time ago, like when we go to the airport. When you travel abroad or enter the country, you have to do this, right? You go up to the kiosk and it says, please place your finger on the scanner. Ding, that's it. That's your biometrics. The point is, biometrics are basically the real password of our human bodies, and you can't change them. The problem is, for example, when we use banking apps or financial apps, if we want to lock them, we just set a password. And if we're really unlucky and get hacked, we can deal with it and reset our password. We change our password and feel safer. Or if we have a credit card and it gets hacked, we just get a new card, and that makes things safer, right? But imagine if our biometrics get hacked. I'm not okay with having to change my eyeballs, or our fingerprints. We really shouldn't have to change those, right? So if our biometrics get hacked, does that mean we'll be unsafe forever until the end of our lives? And if someone says, hey, but the people who store our data are at the government level, these are organizations at a global level. They have to uphold rigorous security standards. But by this time next year, we don't even know who our prime minister will be. And 10 years from now, will the current legal framework still protect our data and keep it safe? How can we be sure of anything? Moving on to the third pillar, which is surveillance hardware. This hardware is used to enforce the first two pillars. They have DSAW ID and they have sophisticated monitoring programs. Wow, what about the money? Now we have to monitor everything, right? We need to have more CCTV cameras in the AF house. Let's put them up every 100 meters at every street corner. And these cameras aren't just for recording footage for fans to freak out over. They need to capture everything: facial expressions, eye movements, body temperature. They should even be able to predict if you're about to commit a crime somewhere. And if we're going to monitor to that extent, the signal towers should be so advanced that even if you don't have Wi-Fi, I can still keep an eye on you. You'd see everything. Just plant those towers everywhere. Leave no place uncovered except maybe the middle of the ocean. If you take a deep breath, I'd know you're breathing, and I'd even know exactly how much air you're inhaling. So you see, it's possible for them to monitor you to the point of knowing how much you're breathing in. Just think about it. They could deduct it from your account. And if they're going to monitor us to that extent, what does that mean? It means they'd need an insanely massive amount of computing power. So what I'm thinking right now is that what's happening? Are they competing to build infrastructure and produce energy in the most cost-effective way, just to power AI for creating a super advanced tech economy and go to Mars? Or is it actually to generate enough computing power to keep tabs on everything I do, everywhere, and in every way? And if they really want to collect such detailed data on everyone in the world, they'd need software capable of processing all that information. As for the processing software, there's already a company doing it, Palantir. If you don't know them, go check out this video. Their job is to process all sorts of massive, messy data and make it easy to read, kind of like looking into a crystal ball in Lord of the Rings. Now, you might ask, do we already have this so-called civilian hardware? Yes, we do. And as for enforcing it all to work together in a digital control grid, that already exists too. For example, in the United States right now, they have it. They've even specified that every car manufactured and sold in the United States must have a system called a health switch, which is a remote shutdown system. If you drive badly, have no manners, break the law, or steal a car, they can just shut it down remotely. Honestly, in movies in the future, we won't see those cool scenes where the police chase down criminals in cars anymore. That's just not going to happen. For the new generation, it'll be like if the bad guy tries to drive away, right? Just flip the switch and that's it. Now, if you're thinking that these three systems will take a long time to actually be implemented, to become law, and for the whole world to accept and use them, yeah, it would take a long time if everything stays normal. But what if there's a crisis? Things could move a lot faster and be easier than you think. Remember COVID? That was like a dress rehearsal for changing the world, wasn't it? Because as soon as COVID hit, you saw how it spread all over the world in just a few weeks. They could roll out applications like contact tracing, tracking, and even vaccine passports. Remember vaccine passports? Without them, you couldn't travel, you couldn't go back to work together if your vaccine passport wasn't complete. Emergency powers were issued instantly, digital health certificates and all that. Normally, these things would take like 10 years or more to get through legislation, but during COVID, they didn't have to wait. It could be passed immediately just because people were scared. And this time, anything that might seem like reckless action, like starting a war with Iran and making it a big deal, then closing the Strait of Hormuz, didn't they think there would be an energy crisis as a result? Or maybe they actually thought it through and knew there would be an energy crisis and even a food crisis to follow. That's why consumer confidence in the United States is now at its lowest point in 78 years. Even more than the 2008 crisis. Yes, it caused financial stress and it created fear too. And when we're afraid, we're willing to accept change. Why? Because we're scared. We're afraid of dying, afraid of being excluded from the society we live in, afraid of being scrutinized. That means if there are people in this world who want to change the world quickly, the only key they need to press is to make people afraid. And then they can change the world instantly. Fear?